White man in boxing led the Flair Cops. Shout out to Goodfellas Sports TV.
Don't forget to check out our sponsor, The Health Blaze, at thehealthblaze.com. 100% all natural products from lotions, soaps, foot soaks, bath bombs, and much, much more. Use the promo code Goodfella1Boxing. Tell them your boy CJ Goodfella sent you. Get 18% off. We out.
All right, we back. Let's get into some boxing. Appreciate everybody for tapping in. If you haven't, hit that subscribe button, bell icon button, share the video. Best way to donate to the channel, share the video. Let's talk about Mayweather basically saying he's gonna be working with Dana White. Also warning Conor McGregor he won't make the money with Pacquiao that he made with him. We're also gonna talk about Lomachenko breaking his silence on what happened with the Teofimo Lopez fight. But let's start off with Showtime and PBC and Mayweather Promotions putting Gervonta Tank Davis and Leo Santa Cruz for an $80 price tag. I don't even know anybody would have watched that fight on Showtime. Showtime numbers been 200,000, 300,000. They haven't done any great numbers. The Charlo pay-per-view card probably didn't do great numbers. They said it was 120,000 buys. Me personally, just speculating, I just know that the number that they report is always higher than what actually happened. So I don't know who great idea was to put Tank on pay-per-view, especially versus Leo Santa Cruz, a guy who never been on pay-per-view. I can't remember throughout history how many $40 or $50 pay-per-views have ever happened at the super featherweight division. But I mean, they think Tank bigger than what he is. I'm not paying $80 to watch Tank fight. I think it'll be a more exciting fight than the Teofimo Lopez fight versus Lomachenko. But ain't nobody gonna see it. You talking about Halloween, people going trick or treat, watching scary movies to the movies with their kids, to amusement parks, for Halloween, and you think people want to sit down and watch a boxing fight that actually got lives? I think not. Unless you don't have no kids or your kids grown or they don't trick or treat. But I mean, I don't think this is an $80 card. I mean, how can you put somebody who can't do a million on Showtime on pay-per-view? He has never done a million viewerships on Showtime. So I think the smart move was to put this on CBS. I can't see Leo and Gervonta, asking for $3 or $4 or $5 million for this fight. And then you haven't heard nothing about anything about the ticket sales. I haven't heard nothing about the Garcia and Spence ticket sales. You would think even in how big the Alamo Dome and Cowboy Stadium is, or Jerry World in Arlington, Texas is, that you heard something about, how tickets been selling, or a capacity crowd or something, oh, we only got this many more tickets for a capacity crowd. It don't seem like they moving no good tickets. I know Leo and Tank just went on sale like 2 weeks ago, so that could be a good excuse, but I just don't understand putting this on pay-per-view, especially where you got a gate now, so you don't have to shortchange the fighter, but $80, I just don't think Tank worth that, and I don't think Leo worth that. You want us to watch Leo Santa Cruz fight a guy who was scared to fight Gary Russell, and he sounds so unsure about fighting Leo Santa Cruz. I'm not sure if I can take his power. I'm sparring bigger guys, and I'm like, come on, man. I know nobody want to watch Leo in real life on regular TV, but that's Mayweather Promotions. That's Al Heyman. They want to see, I guess it's a barometer to see how Tank could do on pay-per-view, how big a star he is. But, look at the Showtime viewerships. That should tell you the story. He's never done 1 million people. So if I can get 1 million people to watch me on my regular fights, how am I going to get 1 million people to watch me on the platform? Maybe they banking on Leo fighting on ESPN before that people going to tune in. But I have zero interest in this fight. I think it will be exciting. And then you look at the undercard. You got Ryan Carl fighting Barrios. You got, not even a Barrios rematch that he had versus the other dude that's trained by Joel Diaz. Then you got Regis versus a TMT fighter. And just the card overall is garbage. You know what I'm saying? We couldn't even get Regis and Hooker on the card. You know what I'm saying? It's just overall trash card. But they think it's a great card. They think it's going to sell great on Halloween. I think not. I think, especially Halloween falling on Saturday, you got people say, well, the world is still locked down. Really, it's not. You got people that's going to be on Halloween parties. People that's still going to go trick-or-treat, take their kids to the amusement parks. You still got that going. So, like I said before, I don't wish nothing but the worst on this card. And hopefully Al Heyman can wake up and convince his fighters that they're not big as they are. And they need to be fighting on regular and free TV. But, I mean, it is what it is. They want $80 for the card. I mean, I'm not knocking nobody who paid the $80. But me personally, I won't be paying the $80 to watch them fight. All right, but then you had Lomachenko, all right? Lomachenko said, Teofimo Lopez's height and reach made it hard for him to get to him. All right, he said you have to go back and watch the fight to see what really happened in the fight. But he didn't say nothing about the power being too much for him to take. You know, he just said the height and reach was too much, and you know, he don't know how to fight taller opponents. And when you fight a taller opponent, you're gonna need a jab. And this wasn't even the worst height and length fighter he could have fought in the division. I'm talking about Devin Haney. He got the length and the height of a welterweight on average. What is he, 5'8" with 72-inch arms? That's a long arm. So, you know, how would you would have got to Devin Haney? You know, got to ask yourself that. And that's why Bob Arum didn't want to put him in with Devin Haney to begin with. So, I mean, that was a lot of height and reach to deal with too. So, I mean, you dealing with a guy that, you know, that can punch. You know, his speed probably gave you a little bit of an issue, but the reach, you know, you only had a 3-inch reach disadvantage. So, you know, maybe he really ain't designed to go up too high. You know, he got T-Rex arms, and, you know, when you fighting a guy that got reach, you got to get on the inside and stay on the inside and work. And he refused to stay on the inside and work. And he said that his shoulder, they saying that his shoulder was a big issue in the fight, but, you know, you won't say nothing about the shoulders, you know, leading up to the buildup of the fight. You know, Teofimo Lopez said he had ankle, hand problems, and a ton of problems. And injuries going to happen when you go to training camp. Training camp break you down more than an actual fight do, because you sparring all those rounds. A lot of these idiots running on concrete when they should be running on a track surface or on the grass. So, you know, you're gonna be dealing with a lot of injury, especially if you don't stay active. So you're trying to make up the lack of activity in the last 12 months for them or longer in one training camp. And when you try to speed it up and try to work extra hard, you know, don't get enough rest or recovery, you know, you're gonna end up hurting something. But, you know, he said, you know, they want a rematch. I don't want to see a rematch. You should have put a rematch clause in there as a champion that brought 3 belts to the table, who won 3 different belts or won belts in 3 different weight classes. You know, you shouldn't have been so arrogant and not put that in the contract. You know what I'm saying? Should have been. They just arrogant. Straight up arrogant. So he don't deserve a rematch. I don't care what his shoulder look like, what it feel like, you know, whatever situation may be. He's just in a situation where he made a mistake. He got arrogant. He got cocky. He didn't want to rematch the kid again if he had won or if it was close. So, I mean, he can talk about the height and reach all he wants to. You know, great fighters find a way to win. Tommy Hearn's reach was killing Ray Leonard in the first fight. Ray Leonard, if that was a 12-round fight, Ray Leonard would have won. But he knocked him out with the 13th, 14th round. And he found a way to get inside that height. You know, great fighters find a way to get inside. For an amateur who had over 400 fights with the World Series of Boxing, plus that, and only 1 loss, why couldn't you figure out a way to break down and take away, you know, Teofimo Lopez's height and length? He wasn't even that tall and that long. You know what I'm saying? You know, what if you got to go down to 130 and fight Albert Bell? You know, he's a really, really tall guy. Or Jamel Herring, he's a really, really tall guy. You know, you have problems fighting with taller guys or longer guys when Teofimo Lopez Sr. and Jr. said they had problems with Nakatani. You know, people say, oh, you know, you can't make that excuse. You know, Lomachenko making all these excuses. You knew how tall and how long he was coming into this fight. You should have been prepared for that in the training camp. You know, and then he didn't admit to saying that the power was too much for him. You know what I'm saying? He just telling about the height and the reach. And he got to rewatch the fight. So that's on him. You know, I think he's a solid fighter. But with the excuses and the shoulder surgeries and the height and the reach issues, great fighters find a way to win the fight. And you just didn't find a way to win the fight. Now, you know, you can find that article in the boxing scene. But let's move on. You got Floyd Mayweather Jr. The money team. You got the money team. He's telling Conor McGregor he won't make as much money with Pacquiao as he did with him. And he talked about in USA Today, talking about that, you know, he coming back. I'm telling y'all, this dude is broke. He going broke. The money that he's spending is going out. It's not coming in as fast. So if you got to keep going over and fighting UFC fighters to get his bag up, imagine when Floyd can't fight no more and his bag started to go out and it started deteriorating and all of that. You know, like all them cars. Somebody, should I take out this car? Idiot, you don't got to keep up this persona like, you know, you Hugh Hefner or you Steve Ballmer. You far from that. This dude almost grossed $1 billion in his career. And I guarantee you, he getting that Chase or that Bank of America alert. You know, because nobody sells a house for almost $2 million less. He sold a house in Miami yesterday for 6.3, but he bought it for like $8 million. He running out of money. You know what I'm saying? You know, same thing with people, you know, they had an old school car and they run out of money and they start selling their cars for less, you know, for the cheap, or they start selling their Cartier glasses for the cheap. It always happens in Detroit. So, like I said about Floyd, you know, he got to fight because he need the bag. If he was making so much money off his smart investments, you know, why do you got to keep coming back and going to fight in Japan and, going to do this and fight MMA fighters. Stop hating on what Manny Pacquiao doing. He talking about Pacquiao broke, but he broke too. You know what I'm saying? He broke as hell too. And you selling your Miami house. Next thing you know, he gonna be selling that California house. What you need 3 properties for in 3 different areas of the world. Unless you're gonna let your kids stay in one of them. But like I said before, this dude coming back to fight because he need the money. And when he can't come back to fight for the money, he gonna be broke again. Floyd gonna be one of those dudes gonna be trying to fight in his 60s. But let Conor McGregor and Pacquiao have a fight. McGregor gonna come back in January. Pacquiao gonna come back versus Mikey in the first quarter next year, from what I understand, if everything go right. And then they gonna fight at the sometime next year, And then Pacquiao's probably gonna retire. The WBA gonna strip him, and then hopefully we can get that belt in somebody else's hands that's gonna unify the division with Spencer Crawford. But like I said before with Floyd Mayweather, man, it's just like it's just like he got to keep fighting. He want to fight McGregor for himself. He want to fight Khabib for himself. He want those fights for himself. You know what I'm saying? He want those fights for himself. So, let Pacquiao live. He got to keep fighting because he need the money. Just like Pacquiao got to keep fighting because he need the money. So I expect to see Mayweather in the ring with McGregor or Khabib pretty soon again. But it is what it is. Let me know what you guys think. Don't forget we on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can reach out if you have a business question, inquiry, sponsorship, video requests. Keep sharing the videos. All my social media links in the description. Twitter's the fast way, then Facebook, then Instagram. Also got a Facebook group. You can always hit me up there. All the links in the description. Want to make a donation to the channel? Best way to do that is share the video. If you haven't, hit that subscribe button, bell icon button. Share the video. Best way, other way to donate, Cash App CJ Good 313. That's in the description. PayPal link there as well too. Appreciate the love, support. One time for the one time. We gone.